The first thing Ion noticed was the smell of leather, not the cracked, sunburned kind he was used to, but the smooth, expensive kind that whispered of money and power. He froze, one foot still outside the car, rain pouring down his back. This wasn't the rusty rideshare he'd ordered. When the door locked automatically, his heart nearly stopped. I'm so sorry," he stammered, looking at the man seated beside him. The stranger turned slowly. He wasn't old, maybe early 40s, impeccably dressed in a charcoal suit, calm eyes, the kind of presence that didn't need to shout to command respect. This was no driver, and Ion had just entered the wrong car. Outside, the storm raged over the city, turning the university parking lot into a sea of blurred headlights and splashing tires. Ion's phone buzzed in his trembling hand. "Your driver has arrived, but the license plate didn't match this sleek black car." "I thought this was my ride," Ion said quickly, panic flooding his chest. "I'm really sorry, sir. I'll leave." The man studied him for a moment, taking in the soaked uniform, the worn-out backpack, the frayed cuffs of his shirt. "It's raining," the man said calmly. "Sit." Ion blinked. "Sir?" "Sit. Where are you headed?" Ion hesitated. His hostel was 20 minutes away. Scholarship barely covered tuition. Part-time jobs paid for food. Walking in the rain would mean another fever, another missed class. But this man, something about him was different. "Northbridge Hostel," he answered softly. The man nodded once to the driver. Only then did Ion notice there was one. The car pulled away smoothly. Ion sat stiffly, afraid to breathe too loudly. The interior glowed softly under ambient lights. He had never sat in a car like this in his life. "You study at Westbridge University?" the man asked. "Yes, sir. Engineering." "Year?" "Second." There was silence again, thick, but not uncomfortable. The man's gaze remained forward. "Do you always get into cars without checking?" he asked mildly. Ion flushed. "No, sir. Today was my scholarship interview. I was nervous. I wasn't looking properly." "Scholarship interview?" "Yes, if I don't secure it, I'll have to drop out next semester." That part slipped out before he could stop it. The man finally turned to him fully. Ion swallowed. Pride was expensive. Honesty cost less. "My father passed away last year. My mother works as a tailor. I work nights at a cafe. But fees, they're too high." The man's expression didn't change, but something in his eyes did.
What's your name?"
"Ion. I'm Armand Shah." The name hit like thunder. Even Ion, buried in textbooks and part-time shifts, knew the name. Armand Shah, founder of Shah Industries. One of the youngest billionaires in the country. He's a self-made business tycoon whose interviews were studied in business schools, and Ion had just stumbled into his car. The rest of the ride felt surreal. When they reached the hostile gates, Ion fumbled with the door handle. "Thank you, sir. I'm really sorry again." "Wait." Armand handed him a sleek black card. "If you don't get the scholarship," he said evenly, "call this number." Ion stared at it. "Sir, I can't. It's not charity," Armand interrupted. "I invest in potential." Their eyes met. "For now," Armand added quietly, "focus on proving you deserve that scholarship." The car drove away, leaving Ion standing in the rain, heart pounding not from fear this time, but from hope. The next 2 weeks were torture. Scholarship results would determine everything. Ion studied like he never had before, slept 3 hours a night, worked double shifts, ignored the whispers of doubt. But when the email arrived, his hands shook. He could barely open it. "We regret to inform you." He didn't read the rest. The world went silent. He sat on his narrow hostel bed, staring at the black card in his hand. Pride battled desperation. 3 days later, hunger won. He called. The response was immediate. "Come to the headquarters tomorrow, 9 a.m. Shah Industries towered over the city skyline like a monument to ambition. Glass and steel reflecting clouds and dreams alike, Ion felt small walking through its revolving doors. But he didn't turn back. Armand was waiting in a minimalist office that overlooked the city. "You didn't get it?" Armand said, not a question. "No, sir. Good." Ion blinked. "Excuse me?" "If you had gotten it, you would have believed someone else validated your worth," Armand said calmly. "Now you'll learn to build it yourself." He slid a file across the desk. Paid internship, engineering division, flexible hours, enough to cover your tuition. Ion's breath caught. Why? He whispered. Armand leaned back. Because 10 years ago, I entered the wrong office. I was thrown out. Humiliated. No one saw potential in a poor student with big ideas. He paused. Built my empire anyway, alone. His gaze sharpened. I don't invest in grades, Ion. I invest in hunger. Tears burned Ion's eyes, but he blinked them back. I won't disappoint you, sir. Don't try to impress me, Armand replied. Impress yourself. The internship was brutal. Corporate engineers didn't go easy on him. Some resented the boss's interest. Others assumed he was there out of pity. So Ion worked. He learned faster, stayed later, asked questions, failed, fixed, improved. Weeks turned into months. One evening, reviewing a flawed prototype design, Ion noticed a structural inefficiency everyone else had overlooked. It was bold, risky, but it could reduce production costs by 18%. The proposal reached Armand's desk. The next morning, Ion was summoned. He walked in, expecting criticism. Instead, Armand was smiling. You just saved the company millions. Ion's knees nearly gave out. The revised design was implemented. The engineering team, once skeptical, began to respect him. By the end of the year, Ion wasn't just surviving, he was thriving. His tuition was fully covered, not by charity, but by earned income. His mother moved into a better apartment. For the first time since his father's death, laughter returned to their home. On the anniversary of the rainy night, Armand called him. You're graduating next month, Armand said. Yes, sir. I have an offer. A senior engineering position, salary beyond imagination. But there was more. I'm also launching a foundation, Armand added, for students who almost make it but not quite. He looked directly at Ion. I want you to run it. Ion's heart pounded. Me, you know what it feels like to stand at the edge? Armand said. You'll recognize hunger when you see it. That night, Ion stood outside the same university parking lot where everything had changed. Rain began to fall again soft this time. A year ago, he had entered the wrong car. Or maybe the right one. He realized something powerful then. Success doesn't always begin with perfect decisions. Sometimes it starts with mistakes, with embarrassment, with doors you weren't meant to open. Sometimes when you're brave enough to step inside, soaked, afraid, uncertain, you'd find not just opportunity, but someone who believes in you before the world does. Years later, when students walked into the Shaw Foundation office, with trembling hands and hopeless eyes, Ion would smile gently and say, "Tell me your story," because he knew it only takes one unexpected moment, one act of faith, one wrong turn to change a life forever.